Okay, so if we're going to be teaching children about sound waves, the first thing we need to teach them about is where sound comes from, and that sound is a vibration. Now, there's lots of really simple ways that you can do this. The easiest way is to get them to investigate lots of different instruments. I've got a guitar here, a chime bar, a triangle, even some homemade instruments, a rubber band over a tub, and ask the children to work out how is the instrument making sound. Now, hopefully, some of them or one of them is going to pick up that something's vibrating. And actually, sound is made when something vibrates. You can see it in the guitar. When they pluck the string, they can see the guitar string vibrating. The chime bar is a little bit harder to see, but what you can ask them to do is chime it and then place their nail just gently on the chime, and they can feel the vibration. Although possibly the best one for teaching that sound comes from a vibration is the triangle. Ask them to hold it over their finger, and then when you chime it, they can feel the vibration up their finger into their wrist and up their arm. So that's a really, really nice way for teaching that sound comes from vibrations. Now, there's actually a really nice extension you can do with this, and ask the children to look at the instruments in the orchestra and to group them by the way that they're made to produce sound, by the way that they vibrate. And what's really interesting is this is a very, very close to the way that the instruments are organised normally in the orchestra. You've got your stringed instruments that are plucked or fiddled or drawn with a bow, your percussive instruments that are struck or bashed or scraped, and then you've got your woodwind or your brass instrument that are blown into. So that's a nice little extension activity you can do. But the key bit of learning we're trying to identify there is that sound is produced by vibrations. We can see that in instruments by exploring them. We can feel it physically in some instruments like the triangle. And we can explore this by making homemade instruments as simple as this, where we can see the rubber band vibrating and producing sound. So that's the first concept we want to be teaching, is that sound is produced by vibrations. Okay, so once we've established the concept with the children that sound is produced by vibration, the next thing we want to do is help them understand how sound travels. Now, an interesting activity to do with them would be to ask them to draw you a picture about how sound gets to our ears from an object. So say if a drum is banged, ask them to draw a picture from how the sound gets from the banging drum to the ear, because what they'll probably draw is a picture of the drum banging and the noise travelling like a basketball going to a basketball hoop into the ear. But actually that's a misconception, and that's what we're going to teach them through this demonstration here with sound waves. Now, we've got two resources for this. The first is just a normal slinky that you can pick up from Hawkins Bazaar and places like that, get them on Amazon. And the other is something that we've made, and it's just by buying springs with hoops on the end and these little cotton bud coil things. So you can buy those and then hook them together, and you make a nice long chain like this. Okay, but we'll have a look at those in just a second. So what we want to teach them is that when sound travels, it travels not by starting at one place and then the sound, the molecule or the idea of sound that the children have travels from that thing to our ear, but rather when it vibrates, it then causes this thing beside it to vibrate, and it's like a domino effect, where one thing vibrates and the thing beside it vibrates, and then a wave is caused. So we're not having one thing moving from the vibrating object to our ear, but rather the vibration causes a wave. Now you can see that that's quite difficult to understand. It's even quite difficult to explain. But if we look at this slinky, it'll be easier to show. So if I stretch this slinky out a bit, and then if I push from one side to the other, you can see that wave going through. Now we can ask the children, what's happening there? Clearly they're not going to think that one of these hoops is traveling up to my other hand and then back again. But what's happening is they're compressing. This one gets pushed into the next one, which then pushes into the next one. So they vibrate a little bit, but they cause the one beside it to vibrate, and it's like a wave, like a domino effect. You can see it there. Now, what you can also just about see is coming back from the other end is the echo. You can see it very faintly from this side, from my left hand. You can see it bouncing back. Okay, the other way then that we can demonstrate sound travelling as a wave and how vibration causes this is by using the spools I showed you earlier on the springs. So if I hold it out so that it's at tension, and then I draw one back. So if I draw the blue one back and let it go, we can see that wave travelling up the line. If I pull back a bit further, we might see it clearer again. If I pull the white one back this time, we can see that wave firing backwards and forwards up the line. And what's really nice with this is you can see that each individual spool is vibrating backwards and forwards, but none of them are travelling all the way up to one end and back again. They're just vibrating, but their vibrations cause the vibration of the spool beside it. So it's getting that idea that sound is produced by vibrations, and when molecules vibrate, they cause the other molecules around them to vibrate, and then sound goes out as a wave. You can see that again here. So you can see each individual spool is vibrating, but none of them are moving all the way up and down the line. Okay, so here's another really easy way that you can demonstrate this idea of vibrations causing sound waves. So this is something really quick and easy you can make in your classroom. You can say I've just used 2 chairs, or you could use music stands that you've weighed down, and then I've ran a little bit of packing tape or masking tape between the two, and then at about 5 centimetre intervals I've just put a cocktail skewer or a bamboo skewer. I've spaced them about 5 centimetres apart, and then I just had 2 packets of jelly babies, normal sized jelly babies, on either end of the skewer. For some of them, you do have to kind of squish the jelly babies on the skewer a little bit, just so you have a balanced line. Now, what we're going to use this to demonstrate for the children is, again, this concept of sound waves. So the misconception children have is that when a sound is made and an object's vibrating, is that somehow that sound travels a bit like a basketball going into a basketball net, and the sound goes from the vibrating object to the listening ear. But we know that's incorrect. That actually what happens is the molecules vibrate, which cause the molecules beside them to vibrate, and that a wave effect is what happens. Now, when I cause one of the jelly babies to vibrate, what we'll see is a wave move up the line, and what we're questioning the children about is there's no one jelly baby that's moving from here to the other end, but rather as it vibrates, it makes its neighbour vibrate, and we see a wave. So let's do that then. Let's see that example. There we go, a very gentle one, but we can see how the jelly babies vibrating produce this wave. There's not one jelly baby travelling from here to there, but as it vibrates, its neighbour vibrates, and we have this wave. I'll do it again. You can see that wave there. Now, an easy way just to test children's understanding on this would be to ask them to draw you a picture. To draw a picture of how does sound get from a drum, say, or a guitar that's being strummed, how does it get to our ear? What you'd be looking to see is some kind of representation of molecules vibrating and making this wave. It could be like dominoes bashing into each other. It could be this idea of things vibrating and passing the vibration on. But that's what we can see in this example. So there you go.